Courtney Brissy, the A&R agent at the Cobb County Extension Office, and I'm here with Renee out at Athens Wholesale Nursery to check up on our plants for the 4-H plant sale and to give you guys a little bit of information about planting some of these plants. So Renee, what's one of the number one things that someone should think about before planting things in their yard?
I would say the number one is the amount of sun.
Okay.
It's very important.
And how can somebody gauge how much sun they have, whether it's full sun, partial sun, or full shade?
What I suggest is to take one day on a beautiful sunny day and take a photo of a particular flower bed in your yard at 8 a.m. Maybe do it every 2 hours all day. Because just because a flower bed has full sun at noon doesn't mean that it's full sun.
Right.
It needs 8 to 10 hours of sun to be considered full sun.
So we're going to look at plants that take full sun, partial shade, and full shade throughout the day today, and then we'll give a kind of a list at the end to tell you guys what you should be planting where in your yard. Now, what about soil?
That's important. So this is the information on how to do a soil test. You can call our office and we can send this to you as an email, so you'll have the information. It costs $9 to do a soil test, and it gives you all kinds of information about your soil, the pH and the nutrients in your soil, and it makes recommendations as to what you need to do to make your soil correct for that particular plant.
Right. So I guess that would be extremely important in the case of our blueberries that we're selling. And
exactly.
I know they typically need a lower pH than most people find in their yards.
That's right.
So if you're going to be planting some of our blueberry plants in your yard, you definitely want to go ahead, get your soil tested now. That way you have time to go ahead and add any lime or fertilizer you may need before those plants come in.
Right. And if the pH is too high, you're going to need to add sulfur. And it doesn't work overnight. It takes a while for that soil to respond and lower the pH. So you need to prepare a little bit.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, this is the information on that. And another thing that's really cool is, you know, we've been talking about flowers that are blooming and when they bloom and when the flowers show. But right now we are in a greenhouse with these oak leaf hydrangeas.
Mm-hmm.
And although the blooms on these are absolutely fabulous all summer, they start out white and they kind of go to a pale pink. But then in the fall, we're filming this in January. And look at the foliage on these.
Yeah, it's great.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
It is. So this is one of those plants that can really give you that color all throughout the year, whether it's the leaves or the flowers.
Yeah, color doesn't just mean the flowers.
Yeah.
It's the foliage too.
Yeah, there was something else I wanted to talk to you about. Since you're our Master Gardener Coordinator, you kind of know a lot more about the gardening aspect of things. What about spacing and mulching? I know that that's something that people tend to struggle with when they're planting new plants because sometimes they don't really consider how big the plant's going to get.
That's right. So in landscape design, even though it's not as much fun to think about it like this, you need to consider how you plant, how it's going to look in 5 years. So as you can see, this adorable little oak leaf. It's so cute and small. But the spacing, the oak leaf hydrangeas get huge. And I think they need to be spaced, I'll have to look it up. They need to be spaced about 10 feet apart because they're going to get so big. And what happens is, if you don't think about it, you may want to plant these every 3 feet so it looks pretty, you know, tomorrow morning while you drink your coffee. But really, you need to give these plants space for them to grow. If you don't, and they're too close, they won't have good airflow. It'll be very easy for funguses and insects to transport back and forth, and your hedge will suffer from that. So spacing is important. And also talking about mulching is pretty, so that's important, but it holds moisture in and it helps with weeds. So it's important to mulch. But another thing is, you don't want to pile your mulch up right against that branch or that stalk, because it will create moisture problems. So you want to keep your mulch away, probably maybe an inch or two just so you can get some good airflow.
Right, right. And so we do have information in the plant sale brochure about the sizes these plants get. So that's definitely something to consider when you're placing your order, is which plants you're looking at, how big they're going to get, and that way you can come up with that landscape design before you place your order. So yeah, thank you for all your information. Okay,
Yes, you're
let's go
welcome.
look at some more plants.
Perfect.